Hi, Dave.
Morning.
The Oilers have always been a team that hasn't had a whole bunch of trouble scoring goals. Their weaknesses over the years has always been defense, and now here you are. You allowed basically 2 goals against in 6 periods of regulation with your goalie in, and you're losing the series 2-0. How do
Yeah.
you wrap your head around that?
Well, it's a tight series. We knew that from where they were at the end of the year, how our series went against them. You knew they were going to play real tight, and that's the way the games have shaped up so far.
How do you get around that? Do you have to change maybe the way you play? Do you have to attack a little more, open up a little more, or is that just what Winnipeg's waiting?
I think the main focus for us, we've had some opportunities that I think we haven't got much out of it because our execution hasn't been good enough, and there's just some times in the game where if our execution was a little sharper, I think we could create a little more. That being said, the games are tight. Both teams are playing tight, chucking games, and both games have been won with far from a grade A chance. It's just a puck that finds its way in the back of the net. We gotta either find some of those or find some opportunities that we create off some real good plays.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
So the word, I think, is a little bit out. Like the teams that have been able to shut down Draisaitl and McDavid do so, Dave, by doing what the Jets are doing. They stop forechecking you. They line up at the blue line. They muddy the game right up. You've seen this before. You coached for a long time. Is there a way to not walk into that wall of players at the blue line? They're turning McDavid into a dump and chase guy, which isn't his game. Is there a coaching tactic that could put some pressure on what they're doing, the way they're putting pressure on what you want to do?
Yeah, there's some stuff that we've talked about. There's some stuff that we'll continue to address.
So I guess it's about, like, Rob was right. You guys' defensive game it's impeccable, and it's come 100 miles from where it used to be. But do you need to let your foot off the gas there and maybe turn back into that team that took some chances, right? Is it okay to take chances in this environment, Dave, where maybe you didn't want to take those chances earlier in the series?
Sometimes the other team doesn't take chances, so there's no opportunity to take chances.
Is that what that's what we're seeing?
I think we can do a better job at some execution in some critical areas that would help our offensive game.
Bob Stauffer, 630 Chad.
Hey, do you contemplate getting a little bit more speed in up front, maybe changing a couple bodies around, if maybe down line, or maybe increasing the workload as an example for a kid like McLeod?
Yeah, we'll talk about a number of situations there where we going on the road in a back-to-back and just see where things come up. But we're, we always keep all those options are on the table. We'll figure out where we are tonight.
Thank you.
Derek Van Dies, Post Media.
Morning, Dave.
Morning.
The Connor Hellebuyck you guys are facing in these first 2 games of the playoffs is a different Connor Hellebuyck than you guys saw in the regular season. I think he had like an 8.77 save percentage against you guys in the regular season. What do you guys have to do to make his life a bit more uncomfortable? Because it looks like he's making that first save, but he doesn't have to make a second or third type thing.
Well, the games are a lot tighter than some of the games in the regular season, and that's both teams are checking harder, checking. You're not seeing the outnumber breaks. You're not seeing the open chances that goaltenders have to deal with when it's a more open game. So both goaltenders have played very well.
And from our perspective, it looks like the Jets are really collapsing in front of the net, and they're really kind of leaving some space at the blue line for some of your defensemen to kind of jump in, take shots, and be more active offensively. Do you need that from even your defensive defensemen, guys like Larson and Kulikov, to kind of jump into those opportunities and take advantage of that?
That's an area where we can execute a lot better, that's for sure.
Thanks.
Jack Michaels, 630 Chad.
Dave, what's the value of experience both amongst your players and the coaching staff when you're trailing in a series?
Well, I guess the experiences you've seen situations before. That being said, it's you can talk about a lot of experience, but you got to get on the ice and do it. So it's that fine line between, okay, we know what to do, but then getting on the ice and getting it done are two different things. So there's no panic in our group. We understand there have been tight games. We got to find a way to make those breaks come our way, and that's what we'll talk about going into tomorrow night's game.
And to follow up on your comment, your players seem to be extremely confident that this is going to be a long series, and they don't seem overly concerned about a deficit. Do you feel that way from a coaching staff when you look at your players in the room today?
Yeah, very much so. We have a confident group. I mean, all the media talk before the series, high flying series, we knew that wasn't going to be the case. We knew it was going to be a tight series, and both games have been very tight, very tight. We got to find a way to get over top of it, and whether it's making an extra play, capitalize on a power play. There's different areas you just got to find a way to get yourself in the win column. That's what we'll be looking for tomorrow night.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
Yeah, so it is true, Dave. Like, you guys haven't had the break. There's been a couple of breaks in this series, and the other team got both of them. I guess I just asked you the difference between I get you're not just sitting around waiting for the breaks to turn. I know you're working at it and you're studying it hard and all that, but is there some danger in just saying, hey, the break's got to turn our way eventually?
You gotta earn your breaks. You earn your breaks. So we're not sitting here crying that we're not getting breaks. That's what they've scored 2 goals off of deflections, or both of them actually deflections, one deflected off Larson. So they've got those goals, we haven't. So we still have to work to get those goals. We're not sitting here thinking everything's all right. We just not got breaks. There's things we can do to help earn those breaks, and that's what we'll talk about here going into tomorrow.
Thank you.
Jason Gregor, TSN 1260.
Dave, when you talk about those things specifically, because you've had some guys in good positions, and do you need to get quicker releases at times when you go back and watch the tape? Are the Jets just doing a good job of getting sticks in lanes at the last second?
You know what? There's times when you need quicker release, and there's times when you need more poise. There's all the above. You just can't, if you just said, do this quicker, or do this, the game would be a lot easier to fix. The game is a fast game. You need poise. You need poise with the puck. Know when to shoot it, know when to pass it, know when to find an open guy, know when to hold it. There's a lot of different scenarios that come into play. Some of those things there's some areas where I think we can be better with the poise that we have with the puck. And again, poise can be all the above. Quick, hold it, find an open man, find an open stick, or get a chance to put it in the back of the net. So there's lots of different ways to look at that.
And you've done it all season long, so it's not new, and you said you want to do it, so it was seamless. Did you see your team better with Connor and Leon together? Did you like that look better in the series, or did you feel your team was just as competitive in game 1 when they were apart?
I think our team was competitive both games, but there's, you still got to find a way to win. So
Kelly Moore, CJOB.
Thanks very much. Good morning, Dave.
morning.
Do you take, and I've heard, some of the things you've said here, but the fact both of these games could have gone either way. And is that something that you would keep reminding yourselves, that this series could certainly be 2-0 the other way as well?
I think we talk more about what can we do better to get a better outcome. We haven't got the outcome we've liked. There is some things that we thought our game, there's some parts of our game that we like. There's some parts I think we need to improve. And if you improve in some of those areas, it'll give yourself a better chance to come out on top rather than one behind.
And with the series now shifting to Winnipeg, would you anticipate any difference at all in some of the matchups that we've seen in game 2? Or both coaches seem to be pretty comfortable with what they've been doing that way. It doesn't look like there's been a lot of hard matching going on.
There's more situational stuff, I think, than that. I mean, I think the whole matchup thing gets overrated. You get the flow of the game. There's matchups on D, matchups on forward. There's face-offs. There's special teams. It gets over talked about sometimes, and as a talking point rather than an actual factor in the game.